All right. This may be my third recording of this because each time keep going 9 minutes. So I'm going to try and go a little bit faster this time. But this is my walkthrough of my portfolio, my final project, and my self evaluation. So, like I said, this time I'm going to go a little bit faster. Um, but basically, my portfolio is pretty much the same for every single week. It's always my notes on reading, things I want to remember for the next week or in the future, and then code examples of things that I really like from the reading. And then usually either an example or a team activity at the end. So this was an example of local storage counting. And then with my other ones, I usually have a team activity attached to the bottom. Week 6, I have my to-do application, which I really, really enjoyed doing. I didn't think I was going to enjoy doing mobile app development so much, and then this app turned out really, really nice, really clean, and I really enjoyed making it. I had a lot of fun, and it's something that I feel like I can actually use now that I have it on my device. So that was my to-do application, and we will go ahead. Like I said, that's pretty much week 1 through 10 is the same format. And then we get to week 13, which has my final project, and of course a victory dance for having completed the semester. So this is my final application. I already went over it in class, but I can go over really quick the functionality of how it works now. So this is an app for keeping track of what's either in the pantry or in the fridge. And then I separate it up by meals and snacks or miscellaneous or whatever you want that to be. But the user can manipulate just from here the quantities. If they want to, they can come into here. I don't know why they would change to breads, but maybe they would. And I change, now it's being shown changed on here. So a lot of this is DOM manipulation, which is why it's changing how it looks on here, but it's also going back into local storage to adjust it there and modify it. We can go into these, and we can also adjust from inside each of these tabs. We're like, breads doesn't make sense, so we're going to change it back to bread. We can add it the item. We're still in the lunch tab. It's changed on here. We can also do the same with delete. Delete stays on snacks. And we still have our other items. We can also add items. We choose a category for it. So let's say we're going to add snacks. We're going to add Doritos because they're delicious. And we'll say we're going to be good, so we're only going to stick with 1 pack. We're going to go add item. Now we have our Doritos here. We go to snacks, and our Doritos shows up. And the last thing that I thought was really cool, something that I'm happy with, was being able to adjust the background color for the user so they're able to have their own preference for what the background color is. And it's adjusted. And it will stay like that because that too is saved in local storage. And that's pretty much my project. So we'll jump over to the self-evaluation. And we'll go ahead and go over this. So number 1, becoming more efficient at applying your innate curiosity and creativity. I gave myself a 4. I feel like I did a really good job of gaining my own knowledge from the readings and then applying it into the projects. And I don't feel like I never had to really reach out to anybody specifically to get help, but I was able to use already what I had learned and what I've learned in previous classes to be able to complete these projects on my own. So I do feel like I deserve a 4 there. Becoming more dexterous in exploring your environment. I did a lot of this. A lot of time was spent on Stack Overflow, and a lot of time was spent on other websites that answer questions. So I do feel like I deserve a 4 for this because I did spend a good amount of time finding answers to my own questions without having to, ask anybody else for specific help. But I was able to do it on my own. So I do feel like I deserve a 4 for that. 3, I had an amazing time with Mike and Amber. We had a really great group. We all spent time driving the code, so each one of us would take turns coding while the other 2 would give input. And I feel like there was a lot of times where they understood things I didn't understand, and they did a great job of explaining things to me, helping me. There's times where I knew how to do things that they didn't know how to do, and I was able to walk them through those things as well. So I do feel like we had a really great group, and I do feel like I had an amazing time getting to help them, and I learned a lot from them. For using a divide and conquer approach to design solutions for programming problems, it's one of my favorite parts of programming. I do love that you don't have to, but to do good programming, I love the planning that goes in beforehand for creating a solution for problems that you might have in the future. And I feel like I did a really good job on both projects of planning before the project started. And a lot of the problems that I ended up having were problems that I already knew about, and I was able to prepare myself a little bit more for what I thought could be issues. Number 5, finding and troubleshooting bugs. You and others will have in code you write. So I don't feel like I did an amazing job, but I do know how to use the console, and I do know how to use the web browser console as well to debug. But I do feel like I could do a lot better in that regard, which is why I gave myself a 3. I feel like with a bit more knowledge, I could put myself more in the 4 range, but I do feel like I am a solid 3. And lastly, developing and debugging HTML5, CSS3, and JavaScript programs. Um, I don't feel comfortable putting myself in the mastery range, but I do feel like with these technologies, I have a good enough understanding that if I have a creative idea that I want to make happen, I have the tools now to make most of those ideas happen. Once again, I gave myself a 3 just because I don't feel like I'm in the mastery level, but also because there's things that I could have done that I didn't do that would have put me up into the next level, into the 4 range. One of those things was I have modals, and I really would have liked to do animations with those modals, but I didn't. I just didn't invest the time and energy into doing it. And those are types of things that we learned in this class that I feel like if I had put to use, it would have been beneficial. That's why I gave myself a 3. Anyways, hope this is under 6 minutes. Pray. But I'm really grateful for this class and for you, Brother Thane, all that you've done for all of us. This has been a really amazing semester, really great class, one of my favorite classes I've taken. And I'm really looking forward also to taking full stack development next semester with you. Thank you for everything, and I'll see you next semester.